Let's I take you back around 120 years ago, when the first horseless carriage was invented. And you will be surprised, at that time everybody was very happy when the first IC engine was invented and it was put on the vehicle. And it was around 1899 when the first horseless carriage was put on the road in London. Now why they were happy? They think that they have get rid from the pollution at that time, which was created by the wastage of horses. Everybody was clapping because to meet the transportation requirements, there are huge number of horses were used in the street of London, and their wastage was a nuisance at that time. It was creating stringent smell, lot of wastage on the side of the roads, lot of heaps and all that. It is giving stringent smell. So they said, now we get rid from the pollution, and we have a wonderful machine which is pollution free, and that's why they were clapping. And if today we realize that how ignorant we were, see the level of ignorance. It took us around 52 years to identify that the exhaust gas emissions of this engine is creating much more severe health problem and environmental problem as compared to wastage of horses. And then in 1960 we start working on emissions, and how it came to people realize that the pollution is created by the engines, especially in the street of New York and all that, and in London, when the people were going for the morning walk in the morning. So they start complaining that our eyes are watering, so there is some irritation in the eyes. And then they have taken the samples from the roadside in the morning. And what was happening, the wastage of the exhaust gas emissions, that is settled down because these are cold countries. So that all the pollutants, they are settled down very close to the earth. And when you are going for morning walk, you are just inhaling that and it is affecting your system. And then they have taken the sample, and then it is revealed that there is a something like CO, HC, NOx, which is present much in more quantity in the city rather than the rural area. And then it revealed that it is from the tailpipe emissions. And since then we are working to reduce the exhaust gas emissions from the engines. Let me go a little bit, maybe Mr. Punia and Dr. Ramesh might have already covered, but here I would like to say that what is an engine? It is simply a energy conversion machine which convert chemical energy into heat energy. Heat energy is being converted into work energy. Do you know what is the efficiency of this engine? Huh?
30 to 40.
So rest 70% say where it is going. It is going as a waste. There is a law of energy conservation. Energy cannot be created nor be destroyed. We are, as a scientist, we are not capable. We cannot generate the energy. We cannot produce the energy. We are only converting from one form to another form. Have you seen a most wonderful engine? Or I can say energy conversion machine? Now I am adding another new dimension. It is not a new dimension, but it is just a awareness. This is the best engine available. This. What we are doing? We are also converting the energy. Whatever fuel we are taking. Now I am able to speak. I am able to act. I am able to work. So that is the energy I am able to convert. The beauty of this machine is that if you see each and every part, what I am resembling, because there are some technology you can work upon from this is the best, and complete universe is within you. Nothing is beyond you. I will give you an example. Like in a car, we are using a fuel pump. Fuel pump is supply the fuel from the fuel tank to the engine, right? That pump is operated at 12 volt and it consumes around 2 to 3 ampere current, and it makes a lot of noise also. The flow rate is around 50 liter per hour for a 1 liter engine. Now, in terms of energy consumption, it consumes significant amount of energy in terms of wattage. You can calculate 12 into 2, around 24 watt hour. You cannot run continuously for more than 10 hours or 12 hours. You see any other pump, after every 10, 12 hours or 20 hours, we have to stop it. See the pump which is here. It is circulating, you know how much fuel or blood it is circulating? Any idea?
12 liter per minute.
12 liter per
Pumping
12 liter per minute.
entire body.
Well, it is pumping 4,000 liter of blood every day. No noise, no vibration. You cannot hear that there is a pump. Now here so many pumps are working, but we are not able to listen. And it is so precise. If there is I can say the RPM of the pump is 72. It is 72 pump per minute, right? And each stroke duration is different. Do you know this thing? Like when it is pumping, like tick, tick. Suppose in one first pulse may come in 0.8 second or 800 millisecond. So next may be 900 millisecond. Next may be 700 millisecond, because it judges the requirement of the blood in the body that is varying. When I am thinking some shock wave comes, I need more. Immediately within a millisecond it reacts to that. No pump available in the universe. And it works if you take care. You are not stopping it. Are you stopping it anytime? Day, night. It is working day, night, month, every year, years and years, 50 years, 60 years, continuously. आपने किसी ने बंद किया कभी ये? नहीं कर सकते.
Even before birth itself.
So see the beauty of it. So if I would like as a researcher, if I want to work on a pump, should I not focus on the design of this? If really I can make a pump which is similar to this, it consumes very less energy, very little energy. The amount of current it takes we cannot measure even. It is in nano or milliampere. And that is consuming 3 ampere, 4 ampere with 12 volt. So wattage is much more. Now come to the brain. Have you seen any computer which can resemble the brain? No. So these few examples I am giving you. No technology is bigger and better than the technology which are residing within you. You agree with me? Agree है तो हाथ ऊपर कर लीजिए. कोई agree नहीं है तो we can discuss that. Yeah. So it means that now we are facing the problem of pollution everywhere. And pollution in city condition is at such a alarming level that 98% newly born childs, they are suffering with asthmatic problems, breathing related problem. Every child in NCR I know in Gurgaon and Delhi, there is a puff, like they have to take that inhaler. Every child is taking that. That is what we are giving to our next generation. So this, it means there are two sides. One side we got transportations, movement, but another side is we are degrading the environment. Now I will just quickly go through that. The exhaust gas emissions, they are creating global warming. All we can feel that depletion of ozone layer. So these are global level effect. Acid rain, that also there are a lot of forest which has been just affected by the acid rain. At regional level, the people who are living in cities and all that, eyes irritation, lungs related, breathing related problems, headache, lung infection, all we can just see it. These are the common diseases nowadays. Just few data. 72% air pollution is created by the automobiles in India. More than 72%. And automobiles are consuming 80% of the petroleum based fuels. And that's why pollution is also in the similar lane, because you consume more fuel, you will, that is the sector. Now another problem is the infrastructure. I am just giving an example of Delhi. If you compare from 1972, infrastructure growth is only 3.7 times. The road infrastructure flyover, they can about 3.7 times. But the vehicle growth is 21 times. It means the situation in 72, traffic situation was much more easier, more free flow, and you can feel also that the growth of the population of the vehicle is much more rapid than the growth of infrastructure. Traffic congestion, another interesting study. In Delhi, if you are traveling for 1 hour or 2 hours, if you are traveling for 2 hours, 1 hour you have to be in the idling. And idling is the wastage of fuel, and it is creating the pollution. Maybe we all know, I will just quickly, like water vapors, CO2, CO, HC, NOx and PM. These are the pollutants which are formed from this. Maybe I can just discuss health effect, because so that you can have a more strong willpower to save your environment. NOx, it causes lungs infection, respiratory infections. CO, it decreases the exercise capacity, headache, fatigue, skin irritations. HC, again headache, and HC is also carcinogenic. SO2, respiratory disease, lung functions decreases with SO2, and PM again increased respiratory illness, and it will also result in asthma and TB. So these are the health effects. These are known fact. It means we are driving at the cost of our health. Am I right? Now, if we are not able to control this, then the time will come you have to choose, either you drive or you breathe. So which you will prefer? You would like to breathe or you would like to drive? Because otherwise you can't survive, right? So that stage may come if we have not taken some strong. Anyway, it is a more fundamental why we get headache through CO, because CO, it combined with the hemoglobin in the blood, and it reduces the carrying capacity of the oxygen. So oxygen carrying to the brain, and it is reduced, and brain need lot of oxygen. Every cell need oxygen. So oxygen is not reaching. That's why you get the headache. So what to do? Now we come to with this background. This is the background. I would like to give you. Now we come to the actual engines. What is it? And let's go to the fundamental requirement. In the beginning I mentioned that this is an engine. Let's see our fundamental requirement. What we need. What we need? Air. Okay. Then I need some fuel. Morning when you have taken, you have fill up your fuel tank, maybe chapati, paratha, anything. What else? Water, liquid, right? But most fundamental requirement for this conversion machine is, it means air, and if you take any animals also, it is air and some food. Similarly, our engine, so-called internal combustion engines, also have two fundamental requirements. One is the air, another is the fuel. And this is under certain proportion. It is not like I can take 1000 liter of air and I give only 1 liter of fuel. There is some ratio is defined, right? And similarly for us also. Now, if we understand this requirement, I think we can design a good engine. So fundamental requirement are only air, fuel, and then to mix them properly, and then to initiate the combustion in SI engines, spark ignition. It means I need an appropriate intensity of the spark at appropriate time. Let's look at the air. In air, what is the percentage of oxygen?
21%.
Around 21. You understand your fundamental requirement of breathing, gas exchange process, how much air you need? Any idea? Okay, do you have idea how much water you need? Average, I am not saying very 3 to 4 liters. Water you know. Food requirement, you know, I think, in the morning I need 2 chapati, lunch, I think more or less you know. But which is more important? Without food you can't survive. You can survive for a few days or not? Survive? Without water also few days you can survive. You are not going to die. Now my last question is, can you survive without air?
Only few minutes.
Only 2 minutes.
Only few minutes.
And it is not astounding that you don't know how much you need.
70%.
What, 70%?
Oxygen.
How much you need? Like water you need 3 liter. How much liter you need?
2 kg.
अब यहाँ से I am concluding one thing. Now you agree that air is of paramount importance. You agree that we can't survive for more than few minutes. We will die. It means if you are not breathing, you are dead. It is so important. It is your life. It is your survival. But you don't know. And neither water. जब आप किसी मांगे भैया बिस्लरी का पानी देना, खराब तो नहीं है ना, ऐसा ही करते हैं ना, पानी देख लो या फ्रिज में रख दो खराब ना हो जाए. Food you keep in the refrigerator and all that. And air, you never say whatever is available, just have it. Now, if the figure which I am going to tell you, it will surprise you. We need around 21,600 liter of air every day. 21,600 liter every day. As compared to 3 liter of water, or 4 liter, or 5 liter. Or as compared to food, which may be 1 kg or maximum 2 kg, right?
Sir, in kg कितनी होगी?
Density से multiply कर लो. What is the density of air?
1.
Density of air. चलो ब्रेक में बताना मेरे को, ठीक है, अदरवाइज आई विल टेल यू. It means air is the more fundamental requirement. Similarly, in engine, if you want to improve the power, you are not increasing fuel. What you need to increase? Air. That's why you are doing supercharging. अब फ्यूल में तो सुपरचार्जिंग नहीं करते ना, सुपरचार्जिंग और टर्बोचार्जिंग you do for air only. So the conclusion is air is most fundamental design requirement of any conversion machine. If you are designing an engine, what is 1000 cc? What is 2 liter engine? What is 3 liter engine? अब fuel से तो नहीं, it is the capacity of the air. So it is the capacity of the air, it is the amount of the air which decide the how much power your engine can develop, not the fuel. So all design should involve keeping in mind the air passage, intake system, combustion, air intake, and fuel, whatever amount of fuel through calculation you need, stoichiometric based on that equations, you can inject and that combustion starts. So air is around 21%, nitrogen is main composition is 78%. For calculation purpose we are considering 29 too. तो डेंसिटी आपकी आई गई, मैं सोचा था आपसे पूछूंगा बाद में, बट इट इज ऑलरेडी हियर 1.184 kg per cubic meter. Actual air contains, because if whatever system I am designing for the engines, my calculations start from the air. So air part is over. Engine has now the breathing capacity of the engine we define in terms of volumetric efficiency, right? You know what is the range of volumetric efficiency of a NA engine in petrol engines?
80 to 90.
80 to 90%. Always?
No sir, maybe less than 5 or plus minus 5%.
What is the minimum volumetric efficiency?
75.
75.
Yes.
And maximum say 85. Any other answer? In petrol engines,
You are talking about naturally aspirated engines.
of course, yes.
Okay. Right.
So during idling, the volumetric efficiency is as low as 20% in petrol engines, and maximum it may go up to 94% in NA engines nowadays, because we are using the RAM effect, we are using the different type of selenium, wall timings optimization, variable wall timings, all this helps in improving the volumetric efficiency. Now we are coming to the fuel. Here again, see the beauty of this machine. If you have designed a petrol engine, can you feed diesel in that? Will it work? No?
No, it won't work.
But see your engine,
It will have excessive carbon deposition. So
now you see your engine. If you are in Punjab, you can take paratha, chole bhature. If you are in Chennai, you can take dosa, you can take rice. If you can take Conti fuel, means food. So you are capable to convert any form of fuel into energy. From here, the concept is developing that can we develop a flexi fuel engine. The engine which can take any fuel which is available on road, isn't it? And the example is this engine, already it is there. So see the beauty of this machine. Again, another point, I am just correlating this with the engine. That You are capable to take any fuel and you are able to convert that into energy. Even the research is going on now. Because the idea, inspiration for the invention is, you see, when we saw the birds flying in the sky, we are inspired, can I fly? And that resulted in the invention of the aeroplane. When we saw the fish, even today, the design of a ship, good ship, it is like a fish. The design of aeroplane is like a bird, because there is no perfect design. Similarly, when we look at our system, you see either brain or your filtration system, your kidney, your pump, your combustion chamber, your digestion system. It is beautiful. So whenever we are doing any research project, why I am emphasizing here? Whenever, because you are all from the institute, whenever you are giving a project on MTech or PhD or BTech level project, just think, because this is a lab which you have, this, you see any part, it is a wonderfully designed. I give an example. We have 2 well engines, means one intake, one exhaust, till 1999 in Maruti. I am talking. We take some industry example. Is it okay now for you? So then we thought how we can increase the volumetric efficiency of this. So means I want to make the breathing of the engine easy, right? We think a lot of things, and then we planned, okay, we can have a 4 well engine which have 2 intake and 2 exhaust. And lot of simulation has gone 2-3 years. What should be the shape of the 2 wells? What should be the track? What should be the diameter and all that? And you will be surprised, the intake path, when we have optimized after 3-4 years, lot of simulation, the passage was similar to the nose. Even today, 4 well engine, if you see the intake path, here you have 2 wells, but inside it is like a nose, like 2, and then it is merging in 1. And diameter is like it. It's the best, lowest resistance possible passage design. And you have 2 holes, 2 holes. By chance, now you can think, can I have the 2 valves only, which can act as a intake and exhaust? No, because this I am using as a intake as well as exhaust. But there in the engine I am using separate. But this is the question to be think upon. So I am trying to activate your neurons. You can take any example. Then I talk about the fuel, how the fuel can affect the things. In 2002, we have launched the MPFI, multi-point injection system. 2000 we have launched, but this problem is in around 2002. How the fuel can affect the system. From Bombay, we got a report that new car, brand new car, 0 kilometer, is sold out, and the person came next after 2-3 days. So when I am driving this car, after 11 o'clock, now listen me carefully, after 11 o'clock in the summer, and the city driving condition, it gives me jerk. And sometimes it stops also. But I drive when in the morning or in the outside the city, no problem.
Vapor lock must have taken place.
Vapor lock. No, vapor lock was not there. Because that happens mostly in the petrol car. In MPFI there is a pump and all that. So then, like that, lot of complaints come. That it gives jerk. We thought that So generally what happens, dealer try to sort out the problem with their engineer and mechanic, so they are not able to understand what is the reason behind that. And then from company, from Gurgaon, there is a quality department. First service department, service engineer will travel there. Because he look at the service point of view. So he say, I'm not able to understand what is the root cause of this problem. Then he pass on the problem to quality people. So they are the quality engineers. So they went there. They say, if the problem is not able to understood by all these teams, then it comes to the R&D. Then it comes to me as R&D. So R&D, like you have designed the system, so you see what is the problem with your system. So in companies like in Japanese culture, there is a word 3G. You know the meaning of 3G? It means that whenever there is a problem, you go to the spot and see the actual conditions. It is not like that किसी ने प्रॉब्लम था सर उसके साथ ये प्रॉब्लम है, आई एम सिटिंग हियर इन द ऑफिस एंड आई एम ट्राइंग टू sort out the problem. So immediately we ask that okay, what you can do, you can keep the vehicles ready which are creating the problems. Not one, maybe 4 or 5 vehicles, so that we can just see that. So we went there, I had taken a ride, I had drive the car in the prescribed conditions, and I feel jerk is there. So because we know the fundamental in that gear, under that RPM, it was in first gear around 1300-1400 RPM, engine RPM, what is happening in the engine, what circuit, which circuit is opening, how the fuel is passing and all that. So later on, I am not going to detail in the investigation, but I am sharing you what was the reason, you know. The reason was that whenever the temperature is raised, the petrol vaporizes, and that vaporization is stored in the canister. We call charcoal canister. It stores the vapors, and when under certain engine operating conditions, the fuel vapors from the canister is transmitted to the engine, right? So when it was, because it was overloaded, canister was overloaded, vapor formation at the heat after 11 o'clock is much more, the vaporization rate of the petrol is more, so it is sending more vapors to the engine, and it is giving the fuel also through the injector. So the mixture was becoming too rich, and that was making the combustion erratic. That was the reason. So for that we have done some modification in the vaporization circuit. The amount of vapors which is going to the engine has to be controlled, and that's why from there the technology is changed from, because earlier it was a valve from canister to the engine, we call it on off valve. Mean either it will supply the vapors or it will not supply the vapors. So after this we have provided a duty type valves. It means it can change the flow rate also. It can reduce the vapors, it can increase the vapor depending upon the condition of the engine. Anyway, next thing is we have discussed about the air and fuel, then it is a appropriate amount of air and fuel. So we know already, you know stoichiometric air fuel ratio, we can calculate that, and this is a very important point. We call it a air fuel ratio or lambda, because your emissions, your pollution is directly proportional to the lambda value. Which pollutant is found, how it is found, that we will discuss, but this is an important aspect, air fuel ratio. Now I can discuss the air fuel ratio of different fuels. Like for gasoline, which generally we use, you can calculate from the equation, it is around 14.7. For diesel it is around 14.5. We are assuming Cn as 1.8, and here we have considered Cn as 8. Then propane is around 15.6, methane is around 17.2. Hydrogen has a air fuel ratio of 34.3 approximately, stoichiometric air fuel ratio. Ethanol 9, methanol 6.47. So amount of air and air fuel ratio, very critical for the engine performance. Whatever emissions control technology we will discuss, they revolves around all these parameters. Even you can, like to your students, you can give to calculate the air fuel ratio for different fuel, and suppose now I am blending ethanol with gasoline. How to calculate the air fuel ratio of the blend? Even calorific value. It is not easy. Fuel measurement is very easy. Airflow measurement to the engine is very, very difficult task. Let's see. I will just quickly revise how it affects the performance of the engine. You see, you are able to, if you want higher power, then you need slightly rich mixture. Power is maximum at richer mixture, right? But if you want good fuel economy, lower fuel consumption, then you have to operate at lean. It means we have a challenge. What we do? If I need to improve the power, I have to make the mixture rich. If I want good fuel economy, I have to make the mixture lean. So this is a, you see, you have to offset this. And when we are designing an engine or vehicle, then we plan, okay, this car is which segment. Like if I am designing Alto or WagonR, it means the people are very conscious about the fuel consumption. So I will focus more on the fuel economy. If some person is taking a Toyota, so he may not be bothered about the fuel consumption. He bothered about the power. Now from the combustion side, if you see maximum flame speed, and we are achieving at the slightly rich mixture. So flame propagation is faster when the mixture is slightly rich than the stoichiometry. So these are some fundamentals. Now let's see how the emissions are affected. So these are all flame temperature, power and fuel consumption. You see all are in a working a different way, and we just see the effect on the emissions. Again in emissions, NOx will be maximum when the air fuel ratio is very close to stoichiometry. Hydrocarbon emissions will be more when the mixture will become rich. CO will be also more when the mixture will become rich. Now you are bringing the mixture, bringing leaner and leaner. If you are making the leaner and leaner, CO will goes on reducing. But HC will reduce and then it will start increasing. Do you know why? CO will keep on reducing when you make the mixture lean. What happened, like when HC is generally found either due to the deficiency of the oxygen. When the mixture is rich, then so it is not mixed properly, and because oxygen is less, so HC is formed. And even if this oxygen is more, then it result in incomplete combustion. When HC is, so that unburnt fuel, that is partial combustion, results in more HC emissions. That we will discuss in more depth when we will talk about the pollution formations. But these are the basic. It means air fuel ratio has an effect on the performance, fuel consumption, flame speed and emissions. And if I want to reduce the fuel consumption, I am sacrificing the power. If I want to reduce the CO, I may increase the HC, or I may increase the NOx. If I want to reduce the NOx, now NOx I can reduce here in this belt, here. But here I am increasing the CO and HC both. So for me it is a big mess. Contradicting. What should I do? And regulations say you have to control CO HC and NOx, everything. So this is a very challenging task. Recently only we were doing the test on the mass emission chassis dynamometer, the car, like you have to meet Euro 4 and all that. So once we have done, it is CO, HC, NOx, everything was in controlled condition. Next time we have done the test, NOx increases, nothing has been changed. So this, what is combustion is very complex. You are not able to understand. These are the practical problem I am telling you. If you are doing the test now and tomorrow again you are doing, you will not get the same result. Now we have air, we have fuel, air-fuel ratio, their effect. Now how to mix them? Very briefly, not in detail, maybe Dr. Ramesh might have discussed injection system, but I will, different concept we will discuss. Carburation were used. Now carburetor is obsolete from the cars. We are using only in motorcycles. And in motorcycle also it may be going to obsolete in next few years. Then fuel injection, we have single point, throttle body, central fuel injection, port. Today the technology is we are using this. Most of the car which are available, either it is Honda, Toyota, Maruti Suzuki, Nissan, they are using multi-point injection system. GDI is little bit futuristic. It is not like that. First GDI car was launched in 1997 by Mitsubishi, but it was not gaining popularity. System was very expensive. There was not significant advantages. So the technology remains there only. But now again people are working on that to reduce the cost and to improve the performance of GDI. Carburetor, I am just ignoring it. Earlier it was a single barrel, then double barrel. From research point of view, let me see the carburetor which has served the industry for more than 100 years. It started in 1898 or like that, and it was in place in India till 2000. It was almost 1 century. 100 years that it was a wonderful technology. It works and it is used for 100 years. नहीं तो 100 years तक कोई टेक्नोलॉजी लास्ट नहीं करती. आप देखो टीवी आए थे, हर 10-15 साल में टेक्नोलॉजी आर obsoleted. What were the reasons why this wonderful device has been? Now I tell you the crux of this. Like if I tell you a engine around 800 cc, Maruti 800, you know what is the amount of fuel it needs per cycle per cylinder? It is around 3 milligram. 3 milligram. And to provide a 3 milligram fuel, it is not easy. Sometimes you may provide 3.1, sometimes 2.9, 2.8, 3.2. And if it is fuel is changing in that, your air fuel ratio will be varying. So, and this quantity may vary under load and speed conditions. Now carburetor, you can tune a carburetor which can meet this requirement precisely, because there is a jet is fixed. It is working on the atmospheric pressure difference. Jet is fixed, so it can, and you can not have a variable jet sizes. If you are using one jet size, that can meet the requirement under only one particular speed and load condition. And the automotive engine is, the curse to the automotive engine is, it has to work under varying load and speed conditions. Idling, first gear, second gear, third gear, top gear, 90 km, 80 km, 70, then deceleration. So this varying load and speed conditions, carburetor say, sir, I cannot support you. I can make the car driving, but I cannot provide the fuel very precisely, very accurately. And that's why when regulations start, Euro 1, Euro 2, up to Euro 1, it was okay. Euro 2, we are not able to meet with carburetor because of these reasons. This already we have discussed, air-fuel ratio effect. Now, mixture is provided, then it is the ignition system, right? I am not going in depth of ignition system. Basically, I can tell you one thing. You know, to create the spark, what is the range of voltage required?
20 to 25 volt.
20 to
25 volt.
25,000 volts.
Right.
Any other?
So 1 lakh, 1 lakh.
1 lakh volt. दूसरा फिर ये है, let we will, you know, earlier we have a CB point, contact breaker, right? So whenever the voltage is passing through or current is passing through, when you open and close, the spark will take place. Because when you are interrupting the current, make and break, spark will take place, and that results in the pitting of that point. So your timing goes out. It means आपने पहले देखा होगा CB point पे दे put the emery paper and then do it the tuning. Secondly, if I am able to increase the, because to produce high voltage, what I need high amount of current. The voltage is fixed here, that is 12 volt only, battery voltage. So you have ignition coil which has a primary and secondary, and that generate convert that voltage. So to get the more energy at the spark, I need more current. But if I increase the current, that point life will go away. So we were limited that we cannot use more than 1.8 ampere current, maximum 2 ampere. So in MPFI engine, that is obsoleted. Now we are using a different breaker-less ignition system. So whatever amount you want, you can send so that you can produce better spark at a spark plug. Earlier with CB point, the output voltage was around 20,000 volts, but with this system, new system, we can produce from 30 to 40,000. So nowadays the voltage, secondary voltage which we are using is around 30 to 40,000 volts, not 1 lakh. Earlier it was 20,000, now it is around 30,000. Now, again in MPFI, we will just touch upon few things only, because they affect your emissions drastically. I have categorized into 4 systems: air intake system, fuel system, engine sensors, and brain of the vehicle, ECU. Now you look at the air intake system. I don't know, do you know that air cleaner, like, it is simple, it is very complex and very critical, air cleaner, because it will choke your engine. If air filter is clogged, it will not allow air to pass to the engine, and we have learned earlier that air is more critical requirement, most fundamental requirement. So people ignore this, but this is the part which can affect your emissions and fuel consumption and power drastically. And sometimes we ask question, whenever we design any part, new part, generally we have good efficiency. So after passing of time, the efficiency reduces generally. But there are some parts, if I say, their efficiency is increased when they become older. Do you know such parts?
Tappet valves and all this. Because after
Air cleaner is like that. Now air cleaner, when it is new, the efficiency of the air cleaner is 97 to 98%. I say filtration efficiency, it can filter. But when it is slightly old, dust is accumulated, the pore size is reduced, so air filtration efficiency will improve to 99.5% as compared to 97, but at the cost of pressure loss. Amount of air will pass less, quality may be better. Filtration efficiency improved, but the pressure drop across the air filter will increase, and that's why we have to remove the dust, because it is the jitne bhi are small holes were lying in the filter paper, they are become more fine, more smaller, so they will allow. Similarly, the case with fuel filter efficiency will also improve, filtration efficiency will improve, but the pressure drop will increase. So this is the air intake part. Air cleaner is a very critical. Then we have a temperature sensor, then coming throttle body, and the air is passing through the valve to the combustion chamber. We call it the intake system. If you want to improve the volumetric efficiency of the air, you have to work upon the air intake system. This is the part. Air cleaner, the length of this, diameter of this, each and every part is critical.
सर एक दो टाइप्स के होते हैं, एक तो फोम वाला होता है, एक दूसरा होता है, तो कौन सा बेटर है ना?
But generally it is manufactured to manufacturer, but non-woven type is much better. There is a non-woven media, and nowadays we are using nanotechnology on the air filter. So very fine fiber is produced through nanotechnology, that is being used. Some sample has been prepared, but otherwise it is a non-woven type paper. So it has some nylon fabric and all that. So it is that foam generally not very popular. Now another interesting things, have you noticed, suppose you are running your car at idling, right? It is summer, you have switched on the AC. When you are switching on the AC, power demand is more. How the power is increased? You are not touching the accelerator pedal. Are you touching? No. It means there is some mechanism which will take care of the extra load of the AC. To take care of the extra load of the AC, you need more air and more fuel. Now more fuel can be provided by the ECU, pump and injector. How the air will be provided? More air. Because you are not pressing the accelerator pedal. When you press the accelerator pedal, throttle, only then extra air will go, otherwise it will not go. Any idea?
So that affects the other parts of the engine, power generated by the engine.
नहीं, how? Power कैसे produce करेगा?
Power कम हो जाएगी जिसकी उसी से.
Well, there is a mechanism in which the RPM is increased.
How?
The engine RPM is increased and the air and the fuel supply is also increased.
The question is same only. How it is increased?
A sensor is in the air intake system, and a sensor is provided with this fuel supply system. So that fuel supply system is pumping extra fuel, and that air intake system is allowing extra air to come in.
How extra air is allowed? That is my question only. Because
RPM is increased.
now again my question is, why RPM will increase?
fuel supply बढ़ेगी.
Fuel supply.
Because you are not pressing the throttle.
Is automatically.
No, automatically word is for a mechanic. not for engineer. What do you mean by automatic? What happens?
So there is a system
What is
which
that?
presses the throttle.
Which system presses? Which system presses the throttle? Who is pressing the throttle?
I think a solenoid switch is put up, which
Where?
activates the system.
Which system?
A solenoid switch is put up
Put up
I
where?
think.
Where it is put up and what it is doing?
in the air intake system. It is pressing the throttle, and the throttle angle is changed so that it allows more air to come inside.
No. Throttle is not being touched.
ये वैक्यूम क्रिएट होता हुआ किस तरह से अंदर वाले में?
Now, you see this. Now, what I want to tell. Thing is simple. We know that something is happening. Engine RPM will increase. We need more power. That is right. But what is the mechanism to increase the engine power? To enhance the engine power, I need more air, more fuel. That is clear. Fuel injector will provide. Suppose earlier its duration of injection was 3 milliseconds. Now it will become 4 millisecond. Fuel is taken care, okay, by this. But how this air will increase? Because I am not pressing the accelerator pedal. So here the press is coming idle air control valve. We call it ISC or IAC valve. And this valve, you have seen IAC. This is just across the throttle valve. It is a bypass. You can see the arrow mark which is turning the air through IAC. So your throttle will remain same, and IAC valve, here we have a stepper motor or IAC valve. So this valve, when AC is on, right, and extra amount of air will pass through this valve. This valve will again controlled by the ECU, and it will open the valve so that extra air can be passed through this passage. Right. Can you see the throttle valve in the slide?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Above
Yes.
above the throttle valve there is an arrow mark which is
Okay.
going to the, and in the left side I have written IAC valve.
Okay.
Now, so it is a bypass of the across the throttle valve, and that passage make variable by the stepper motor.
Yes.
So see, the thing is very simple, but it is a mechanism. It is a concept how it is changing. So when we go to the root level, basic level. Otherwise, generally we say this will do, this will do, this will do, this that. So this is the purpose that intake system completely is depicted here, and even nowadays what is happening now, new concept is coming maybe in after 1 or 2 years, that we are using electronic throttle body now. What is electronic throttle body? The throttle, now you are moving the throttle with the foot through the accelerator pedal, and one cable is connected from the accelerator pedal to throttle body. You have seen that cable is there.
Yes.
Even
Only
now,
sensors are there. Now cable is not in the
no,
high-end vehicles.
that's what I am coming to that only. That that most of the car has a cable, but in the high-end vehicle now cable is replaced by the electronic connection. It is already there in Civic, in some higher model. There even you may not need the ISC valve, because there throttle valve is controlled by a stepper motor. It is not controlled by mechanically, it is controlled by electronically. So throttle valve will move automatically as per the condition of demand of the engine. We call it ETC. This is a mechanical throttle valve, and upcoming technology is electronic throttle valve.
in the extreme temperature conditions, when winter is there is a lag. If we see, when we are pressing the accelerator pedal, there is a lag. And when in summer conditions, when there are extreme temperatures, the response is quick.
No,
This is also a big
no, actually,
problem.
It is not a problem. It is the calibration engineer who set these conditions. Because in mechanical throttle body, the control is with the driver directly, 100%. Okay. In electronic throttle body, all the accelerator pedal will be pressed by the driver, but the signal will go to the first ECU, and ECU will decide how much throttle will be opened under that circumstances. In mechanical throttle body, if we have pressed throttle 100%, directly mechanical throttle will open 100%. But in electronic, if you have pressed 100%, first signal will go to the ECU, and ECU will decide should I open full or 50% or 40% or 30%. Partially. So it means, and that ECU will be decide which decision is fixed by the calibration engineer. He decide that under that condition how much should be opened so that you can meet the emissions norms. So it is not necessary that driver want to accelerate quickly, but mechanical throttle will respond immediately, but electronic will not respond immediately because he will open slowly so that emissions are not out. Is it clear now?
clear. This is only a game of emissions.
Emissions, yes, they use the, and that's why ETC is based. Driver cannot abuse the engine now.
Right. Now I got it.
Right, so air system, air control, throttle valve control, ISC control, this we have learned. And now from fuel side, I will not take much time. It is a fuel pump, it is in the tank, and we are delivering the fuel at a pressure of 3 to 4 bar. It depends upon the make, like Maruti use 3 bar, some other Ford use 3.8 bar. So then we have a fuel filter, fuel pressure regulator, so that fuel is injected at constant pressure under all conditions. This is the injector, it is very precise, so you can inject the required amount of fuel, and the duration of opening of the injector is called pulse width, duration of injection. It is electronically controlled, we call it pulse width. And these are the different sensors, like MAP sensor, which measure the pressure in the intake manifold. Throttle position sensor measure the throttle opening. Engine control temperature, crankshaft position, camshaft position, oxygen sensor. Now the new change is, now the sensor which I am showing here, they are good up to Euro 4. In Euro 4 again the concept is going to change. Till Euro 4 all this technology is workable. MAP sensor and MAT we are using to calculate the amount of air going to the engine. But this is not very accurate. Up to Euro 4 it is okay. In Euro 5 we are replacing both MAP and MAT. Instead of MAP sensor we are using direct hot wire anemometer technology, which is measuring the air directly, airflow. It will give the mass of air. It is being calculated based on this, which is not very accurate, because I need accurate amount of air. Only then I can inject the accurate amount of fuel. If there is an error in the air, there is an error in the air fuel ratio. So up to Euro 4 there is no problem. You can if there is a suppose 2% error, it is okay.
That can be mitigated.
Mitigated because emissions are slightly higher. But in Euro 5 emissions are further reduced, so you want more and more accuracy, and to produce more and more accuracy I have to
Those one more,
accurate method,
Those one more precise one.
more precise. But that will calculate the mass of air very
sensibly.
Sensible.